What is up, my friends? We got our first two episodes of Wandavision, and before we get into it, it's been a while, hasn't it? I'll explain more in the upcoming videos, but let's get right into it. So, Wandavision, we're here with the first two episodes. Now, this is going to be a weekly episode, just like The Mandalorian. We have 7 episodes left, so 7 weeks of Wandavision. And let me tell you, the first two episodes were definitely what I was hoping for when I first heard about WandaVision. I love comedies. I love um, like TV sitcoms and all of this. So when I heard that WandaVision was going to sort of get references and similarities to that, I was excited. And now we finally have our first two episodes, which were pretty good. So I'm not really going to talk about the subplot and everything else going on here. We're going to talk about the main plot of what exactly is happening here because as we all know, when these two episodes start, we see Vision and Wanda happy. That's not the case, my friends. We got to remember Vision is dead. We know Thanos killed him, and Wanda pretty much is like out for revenge. So, what is going on here right now? So, there is really no talk about the MCU so far, except for maybe some talk about Stark, but that's talking about Stark Industries, not really Tony Stark, and maybe some other references. So, one we're about to get into is Sword. Now, Sword is a company, a entity, whatever you want to call it, that I believe is going to be becoming more prominent in the MCU as we go forward, as they go more into the outer realms of space and all of these other things coming to us pretty soon, as well as Captain Marvel introducing this as well. So SWORD actually stands for Sentient World Observation and Response Department. And this is what we pretty much see Wanda when she's holding the helicopter toy that appears that's actually colored when everything else is black and white. It actually has an emblem of a sword, so this could be pretty much what they're trying to imply. Now, at the end of the first episode, we actually see somebody sitting behind a computer taking notes, watching everything that's happening at Wanda. This leads me to believe that we could actually be having Sword have sort of a whole like plan behind all of this, and maybe they're the ones orchestrating all of this. So there's the theory also that Wanda's actually doing all of this in her own mind because she sort of has this moment of a breakdown because Vision gets killed and all of this and decides to go into her own mind and build this world where she and Vision can be together. Another thing that we also see here is we see Strucker. Strucker, as you know, is a character that has been introduced already, and Strucker is the name of the watch we see during the commercial, and you can see the emblem of Hydra right there. Of course, the name is Baron Wolfgang von Strucker, who actually was one of the scientists behind Wanda and Pietro in Age of Ultron. We do know Strucker is dead, however, Ultron, he totally took him out, but the case is still that we could see him appear in WandaVision because if all of this is taking place in Wanda's head, of course Strucker will come back at some point in time to sort of mess with her. As we know, he is the main reason that she became the Scarlet Witch. So we could be seeing him appear in some way, shape, or form. Now, the beekeeper that we see at the end of the second episode is something that's pretty interesting. So, after doing some digging, he could be very possibly Swarm, a character that is actually introduced in the comics as a Spider Man villain. Now, of course, Sony does own the rights to him, but the case is that I remember Kevin Feige talking about how WandaVision, Doctor Strange, and Spider Man would be a whole trilogy of films. So I think them starting to introduce Swarm in here, we could definitely see him in a future movie such as Doctor Strange 2 or Spider Man. And we know that Doctor Strange will be making an appearance here. Like, I'm pretty sure about that. And so that's very interesting to see if he is actually Swarm or maybe he could be something else like completely different, but the case is there that this could be Swarm. And I think the biggest thing that we see at the end of this episode is that Wanda is now pregnant. Now, as you know, House of M pretty much has to do with all of this, and X-Men later down the road. So we won't get into that right now. We'll talk more about that when I talk about theories about where's to come. But Wanda pretty much being pregnant is setting up a lot of things because is she really pregnant? Now, in the comic books, she does end up getting pregnant in her imagination, but those kids actually turn out to be real. So just because this is all taking place in her head doesn't mean that if she's pregnant and she gives birth that these beings won't actually be real. Like they could actually be real, you know? So I think that that's going to be something interesting to see what happens with that. We do have some other characters being introduced here from Captain Marvel as well, and I'll talk more about that in my theory video coming out later this week. But I just wanted to talk about my thoughts on the show and those endings right there and what we're possibly setting up for the future of the show. As I said, I'm liking the whole atmosphere of it. It's really lighthearted, and I like how towards the end, that's when you really start to be like, wait, something's not right here though. Like the sitcom and everything, I like it. It's funny, lighthearted, but still, something's not right, and I want to know. One of the big things I really do think, truly believe that Agnes is actually playing Agatha, who will become a central villain in this show, and I'm pretty excited to see that happen. You can already tell that she kind of is like sort of alluding to Wanda. This isn't the reality of things, and she tries to always get Wanda to sort of be like, hey, get back to the duty of what you need to do. You are the star of this show. So I feel like she could have something to do with all of this going on as well. So there's a lot of theories out there. It could be all in her head that Wanda created. It could be Sword, it could be Agatha, or Sword is actually the one that's trying to save Wanda out of all of this as well. That could be a very possibility there because in one scene we actually hear like somebody asking Wanda if she's okay, if she needs help, and all of this. So I think that Sword is actually trying to do the right thing here and trying to sort of save her from whatever Agatha's doing and who's ever bidding she's doing as well, because I feel like there is a bigger bad behind all of this as well. And I think we're going to get those questions answered pretty soon. And I think that we will definitely be seeing a lot more of Sword as well as we're getting closer to a Secret Invasion TV show that Mr. Feige has even said about it, and they have a lot to do with that. So I think that the groundwork that Marvel is setting is really awesome to see, and I'm very excited to see how they're gonna pull it all off because it's just sounding so amazing. So let me know your thoughts on the first two episodes. I'm gonna be making more of a theory Easter egg breakdown over the weekend, so make sure you subscribe for that. Anyways, as always, that's going to do it for me. I'm so excited that we're about to reach 18,000 subscribers. I know I took a longer break than I was intending to, but I'm back. Servant Season 2, Episode 1, Any Explain coming out today as well, so make sure you're subscribed to know when that comes out. And as always, I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe, stay positive. But as always, if you're still listening, why don't you go ahead and check out one of the videos on the left. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you turn on those bell for notifications. Got a lot of stuff to talk about over the weekend about this show because Easter eggs galore, right? So anyways, I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.